You know, that shot kind of looks slightly familiar to me. Ah, these buggers know what they're doing.
Hey guys, it's Dan, your host of DN's Reviews, and today I'm back for another video for the House of the Dragon. We are here to do our review for the penultimate episode of Season 1. This is for Episode 9, titled The Green Council.
Alright guys, this one's going to be doing another video for today. This one's going to be doing another review for today. We are here to do our weekly review for this week's episode of The House of the Dragon. This is for Episode 9, the penultimate episode of Season 1. This one is, oh my god, this one was so good. So, this is our penultimate episode for Season 1. I very much enjoyed this episode. We have one episode left, and then Season 1 will be a wrap. Very much have enjoyed this season. Very much have been enjoying the House of the Dragon series on HBO. I think Game of Thrones really has succeeded with a spectacular spinoff with this one. I was admittedly very, very cautious going into this show, and I think 9 episodes in, I can safely say, as long as this season finale is as good as they're making it look, I think they've really succeeded with this first season, and I'm very excited to see where it goes. And I did also hear some news that apparently this show has been decided for 4 seasons. They're not going past, they're not doing less. They're doing 4 seasons of House of the Dragons, and that'll be it. So I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm very excited to see the other 3 seasons, and this first season I think is continuing to be good. So anyway, this episode is picking up right after the death of Lord Viserys, and this was a very, very crazy kind of aftermath episode. Now, usually with Game of Thrones, we get to see the 9th episode, the penultimate, be like our big season finale type episode. And we saw some crazy stuff, that's for sure, but it was definitely more of a build-up episode to the finale. So, to go through what goes down in this episode, we basically have, after the death of the king, the man himself, he is dead now, and Alicent immediately is right back on her shit, man. She's immediately right back on her bullshit. She basically says to everybody in the meeting room that the king's dying wish, the last thing he said to her, is that he hopes that Aegon will rule, that Aegon will be king. And of course, she says that because she doesn't want to tell the actual truth of what he said to her in his final moments, where he was so out of it he thought that she was Rhaenyra and said that you were born to rule, right? So even though his dying wish is for Rhaenyra to rule, you know, Alicent, of course, to get her way and to flip things around, she lied, and she said that he wants Aegon to rule at this point, right? Now, you've got a moment in the meeting room where one of the guys kind of freaks out about this, and Cole straight up just murders him, straight up just kills him. So that was kind of crazy. Basically, like slams his head down on the table and then finishes him off. So there's a lot of conflict right now, but in particular, Alicent just wants to get her way, and she figures that saying bullshits about what the king, you know, said in his final moments will get her what she wants. And Rhaenyra and Daemon are off right now. They left, you know, last episode, so they don't even know any of this stuff is going on yet, and they're not even in this episode, which is pretty crazy. It's a very Alicent-led episode, but basically what ends up happening is that Aegon does not want to rule. He doesn't really want that kind of life. He doesn't really want that, and he even kind of talks to Alicent about that, and, you know, this episode, he's kind of like, look, I don't want this. Like, I don't necessarily want this to be my life. But as we see the ceremony and as we see the, you know, unfortunate kind of gathering, and they're supposed to be sitting there honoring, you know, Lord Viserys, they're supposed to be sitting there honoring their king, and instead they take the opportunity, Otto takes the opportunity to introduce their new king who comes out, which is obviously Aegon, and, you know, they're supposed to be having a funeral, but instead it's some big celebration as he gets up on stage. You know, they all raise their swords to him and stuff like that, and they crown him, and, you know, that whole kind of thing. And Alicent is so happy because she's getting her way, and Otto, same thing, he's getting his way. You know, after all this time, they're finally getting what they want, and, you know, he's ruling. He's going to rule now. Aegon is in charge. And I couldn't help but notice, guys, honestly, this was a really interesting shot where he's standing there and you see him, like, standing in front of the crowd. It reminded me a lot of when Daenerys walked out in front of her crowd in the series finale of the main show. I don't know if that was intentional, but it felt very intentional from a viewer perspective. And I feel like they're trying to tease to us that him in that position of power, Aegon in that position of power, is not a good thing. Like, it's not going to be a good thing. So things get even more heated now that the king is dead. We now have a new king. We now have more drama. Alicent is continuing to play this game, and she's now starting to get her way. Oh, shit, man. So the episode ends in a pretty crazy manner where you've got a dragon that comes through and literally blows up half of the crowd. And it's a warning to Alicent that, you know, Rhaenyra is not going to have this. Rhaenyra is not going to put up with this. And next episode, Rhaenyra is coming back, and we're going to have to see what happens between Rhaenyra and Alicent. And, like, might I just say, I just can't even believe, like, where we started with this story and where we are now. The pilot, they were, like, two best friends, like, just, you know, young girls, you know, closer than anybody else, and now they're literally, like, so against each other, and it's all about to come to a head in this season finale. So I cannot wait to see what happens. I cannot wait to see this season finale. This was a spectacular penultimate episode. I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10 episode because I have no issues with this one. I love the conflict. I love the build-up. I love the fights. Alicent continues to just impress me more and more as kind of a villain, kind of, at this point. She kind of gives me these Cersei vibes. I don't know about you guys, but that's what I get when I see Alicent. I just kind of get beginning Cersei vibes with her, but, man, we'll see what goes down. I am very, very excited to see this finale, very excited to see how this wraps up, and this was a spectacular penultimate episode to lead us into what I'm going to assume is going to be a crazy finale. So, anyway, if you're new to the channel, make sure to click that subscribe button so you don't miss any future reviews for the House of the Dragon. If you like what you see here and you like these reviews, make sure to consider hitting that subscribe button. And, of course, as well, make sure to follow me on Dan's The Walking Dead reviews on Instagram, guys. And, of course, I'll see you guys really soon for more videos for the House of the Dragon. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.